Now, I love the fact that here the brother of Jared didn't say to himself, rubbing his chin, thinking, what should we have him do about the light problem? I got it. And then he just reaches down and picks up 16 rocks off of the ground and set them up on a little stone platform and say, there, okay, touch those with your finger. I love the fact that the brother of Jared went to incredible effort before he came and made his request to the Lord. Look at chapter 3. He went in verse 1 to a mount which was called Shalem because of its exceeding height. So the first thing he does is he climbs a high mountain. This mountain is going to take great effort for him to get to the top of. Then he has to find the right kind of ore, and he moltens out of a rock 16 small stones. Curious, how many of you have ever taken raw ore or rock and melted it down to the point where it's molten ore, where you can do things with it? This isn't your typical campfire. This has to be incredibly hot with some pretty intense flames and a lot of work going into this to then create the molten rock. And then from there, he creates 16 white, clear, transparent glass stones that he can then carry up. He's getting rid of as many of the impurities as he can to get these 16 smooth, transparent stones. Notice once he gets up to the top of the mountain again in front of the Lord, you might mark in verse 2 through 5 how many times he uses the phrase, "O Lord." This pleading, this humble and meek prophet of God saying, "O Lord, thou hast said that we must be encompassed about by the floods. Now behold, O Lord, do not be angry with thy servant because of his weakness before thee. For we know that thou art holy and dwellest in the heavens, and that we're unworthy before thee." Can you sense the humility? God told him, you tell me what to do. And even though God had given him that green light, he is being so humble and meek and cautious in his request. He's not making a demand here. He's still going to the Lord in full humility, saying, I recognize who I am. I recognize my imperfections and my weakness. I know somewhat of thy perfections and of thy infinite power. Please be patient with me. I did the best that I could. Now here's the grand irony. The very finest work that the brother of Jared could do was to produce 16 small, smooth, transparent stones that are sitting on some surface in front of him at the top of this mountain. None of them are shining. None of them are giving off any light of any kind. This is the best I can do. It's not glowing. It's not going to light any barge. Lord, I've done the best I can do. Now notice his request for the Lord to touch them with his fingers so that they'll shine. Look at verse 5. Behold, O Lord, thou canst do this. We know that thou art able to show forth great power, which looks small unto the understanding of men. I love something that Elder Jeffrey R. Holland shared in his great book that he wrote about the Book of Mormon. He said here, referring to this verse 5, here we have this childlike encouragement for one who needs none. But oh, what an incredible expression of faith. Behold, O Lord, thou canst do this. That's a phrase we use when we're teaching children to ride a bike or to walk or to do something hard for the first time. You can do it, you can do it. Childlike encouragement. And now you have the brother of Jared using this phrase with God, not in a childish voice, but in a faith-filled voice. Behold, O Lord, thou canst do this. What an expression of faith. And you'll notice now that the Lord's finger does actually come and touch the stones. Now let's put that story on pause for a minute. I want to I want to tie this together first before we proceed with the story. When God gives you silence to a request, which for some people, if not many, it seems like that answer of silence becomes the preferred answer the older we get. Then these become even more sweet when they actually come, because we're getting these opportunities to learn and grow and experience life by using our agency. Here's the amazing thing. God doesn't ask you to use your agency. So here's a typical path of life, so to speak, as we're going from level to level and plateau to plateau and steep climb to steep climb, so on and so forth. God doesn't take a person who's here and say, now I need you to get here, use your agency, figure it out. That's not what he's doing. He usually finds us where we are, and then he stretches us to the next level that's doable with his answers and his combination of answers. Our heavenly parents know what they're doing when it comes to the combination that they use of all of these various types of answers to our requests. They know where we are. They know who we have the capacity to become. They know what the next step in our journey of progression and spiritual maturity is, and they know perfectly how to respond. Now, some people say, I just don't feel like God's hearing my prayers because I'm not feeling anything and I'm not hearing anything. That's a beautiful opportunity for us to take the perspective of God saying, I trust you. Use your agency. I'm trying to stretch you to your next level. And you're not going to get there, apparently, by me telling you what to do or me doing it for you. So keep working at it. Figure it out. I won't ever let you get too far astray if you happen to choose the wrong path. I know what I'm doing is kind of the implication coming to us from heaven. And it's our job now to trust and move forward, especially if it's been weeks, months, years, even decades wrestling with a particular problem that he isn't solving for us and isn't telling us how to solve. Maybe it's time for us to get up, climb exceedingly high mountains, and start looking for ore. And I don't know what that represents in your life, but there are always mountains to climb when it comes to us overcoming our struggles. We just need to figure out where those mountains are and where that ore is hiding and go get it. So let's pick up the story now. We have those 16 smooth, transparent stones sitting in front of us that are not shining in any way, shape, or form, and yet they're the best effort from the brother of Jared. Look at verse 6. It came to pass that when the brother of Jared had said these words, behold, the Lord stretched forth his hand and touched the stones one by one with his finger, and the veil was taken off from the eyes of the brother of Jared, and he saw the finger of the Lord, and it was as the finger of a man, like unto flesh and blood. And the brother of Jared fell down before the Lord, for he was struck with fear. Look at verse 13. When he had said these words, behold, the Lord showed himself unto him and said, because thou knowest these things, ye are redeemed from the fall. Therefore you brought back into my presence. Therefore I show myself unto you. Now look closely at 14. Behold, I am he who was prepared from the foundation of the world to redeem my people. Now here's the key part. Behold, I am Jesus Christ. I am the Father and the Son. In me shall all mankind have life, and that eternally, even they who shall believe on my name, and they shall, notice the word here, circle it, become my sons and my daughters. You'll notice he has the title of the Father and the Son. He is already the Son, but he becomes our Father. We become his sons and daughters through the covenant connection that we make with him. Must have cross-reference in the margin there next to verse 14 is Mosiah chapter 5, verse 7, where King Benjamin talks about how we become the children of Christ through the that we make with him. Now notice verse 15. Never have I showed myself unto man whom I have created, for never has man believed in me as thou hast. There have been a lot of talks given and articles written on this particular verse, this statement, never have I showed myself unto man, because we know that before the brother of Jared, we have Noah and Enoch and Adam, and they've all seen God, but he says, never have I showed myself unto man whom I have created. So it implies that there's something different about the brother of Jared's experience, and there are a lot of reasons. I'm just going to mention a few of them here. This is not an exhaustive list. One of them is, look how he introduced himself in 14. I am Jesus Christ. It's possible that previous to this, all of his other introductions has been to people have been as Jehovah or Yahweh in the Hebrew context, his name in the Old Testament, not as Jesus Christ directly. So that's a possibility. The other possibility is that the brother of Jared has such faith that it's as if the veil could not hold him back. So maybe it's God having revealed himself to others differently than the brother of Jared with his level of faith. He says, never has man believed in me as thou hast. So he's drawing attention to that distinction. You have more faith than anybody I've ever had in front of me before. That's pretty remarkable. And then he tells him, look, can you see that you're created after mine own image? Look at verse 16. Behold, this body which ye now behold is the body of my spirit, and man have I created after the body of my spirit, even as I appear to be, or unto thee to be in the spirit, will I appear unto my people in the flesh. It's as if he's saying, you're looking at my spirit body, the body of my spirit, and the way you're seeing me is how people are going to see me when I'm walking the streets of Galilee and Jerusalem, as I'm going to appear to people in the flesh. So perhaps he's never revealed himself unto mankind before in this form, but only ever in the resplendent spirit, godly form of the great Jehovah of the Old Testament. And there are other options as well. The point is, verse 17, now as I, Moroni, said, I could not make a full account of these things which are written, therefore it sufficeth me to say that Jesus showed himself unto this man in the Spirit, even after the manner and in the likeness of the same body, even as he showed himself unto the Nephites. So now you get the resurrected body implied, because that's what got shown to the Nephites after. So you've got all these different layers of possibilities to piece together. So he ministers unto this man. And verse 19, because of the knowledge of this man, he could not be kept from beholding within the veil. So he's rent that veil, that cloud that had enshrouded God in the first 2 chapters. It's now gone. And he sees things because he's acted in faith. He's moved forward on his covenant path that God has given him. And it's beautiful. Now, as you turn over, look at verse 22. Now behold, when ye shall come unto me, ye shall write them, these things. He shows the brother of Jared a vision. We call these panoptic visions, a view of all things from past, present, and future. And he tells him that you're going to write these things and seal them up, that no one can interpret them, for ye shall write them in a language that they cannot be read. So we get a sense of the sealed portion of the Book of Mormon plates beginning here. Look at verse 23. Behold, these 2 stones will I give unto thee, and ye shall seal them up also with the things which ye shall write. So God gives him some interpreters, some stones through which the light can be brought to pass, that we can translate these records that the brother of Jared's going to write. And then in chapter 4, Moroni is given the command to take those things written by the brother of Jared. He's been given those Nephite interpreters now, or the Jaredite interpreters, to be able to read those records, write them, and then he's commanded in chapter 4 to seal them up. Look at verse 5. Wherefore the Lord hath commanded me to write them, and I have written them. And he commanded me that I should seal them up, and he has also commanded that I should seal up the interpretation thereof. Wherefore I have sealed up the interpreters according to the commandment of the Lord. So we get an idea of at least something, a major portion of some things that are going to be on the sealed portion of the plates to be translated someday when the Lord sees fit that they come forth.